Welcome back to Press Club. I'm Earl Buski. My guest is Irma Dimak, and we've been speaking about how she got into the profession, her work among young people, her volunteering work in her community. And before we went to the break, Irma, I was asking you to what extent do you as a young person who has a greater level of access to and use of information communication technology by virtue of your work and your own interests, are you satisfied that young people are sufficiently making use of the unrestricted access to a world of information at the fingertips?
I definitely think more can be done when it comes to technology, because I think of people like Mike Rogers, for example, and telling me, you know, in my day, I had to do this and that and that, and we had to go through such a lens when it comes to getting information. And now that it's available, people are not making much use of it. I think definitely a lot can be done, but young people have found innovative ways of actually using the technology that they have. I think if you think of people like Ted Sandiford and the way that he uses animation and social media to send certain subtle messages across, and people may think of it as comedy, and they might just see, you know, the jocular part of it, but there's a serious message there that people pick up. And I think that there are a number of young people actually using the technology in their very own way. And so you hear a lot of people saying, well, the youth, they don't read anymore. But they are reading. It's what they're reading and how they're reading. So you don't necessarily see a number of people.
How do you call the books that talk?
Audiobooks. Audiobooks, yeah. Exactly. But you see, that is the difference in the technology. I think that we need to make we actually need to make connection and a separation from, because I used to be into audiobooks. Why should I actually read when I can listen to it? Until I got into media, and I was told, no, you have to read. I don't care if you're using your tablet, your phone, your laptop, you need to read.
So you're not going to get an audio of the newspaper.
Right, and not only that, the benefits of actually reading. And when it comes to your grammar, your ad-libbing, you don't get that from listening to an audiobook. So as good, as pleasurable as it is to hear somebody read to you, you can do that when washing dishes or even driving, when you can actually pick up a book.
So to what extent are young people, to what extent are young people taking in the message about careful use of the technology? We keep hearing Mrs. Elizabeth Lewis and other people in her realm appealing to young persons to be more careful about how they expose themselves to technology. But my problem with it is that it is all well and good to have that sort of advice coming from the top down to young people, but it only happens when an incident, you know, when a video goes viral of young people, you know, misbehaving, then you have the police, the Department of Social Services, and the institutions reacting
to that particular
yes, to that.
You see, we're a reactionary people, and I don't know if we've taken enough time to sit down and allow people to understand how important it is to play, to be cautious with what you put out there when it comes to the internet, when it comes to social media. Because recently, I sat in a social media marketing class, and our lecturer is saying to us, if you're not going to wear it on a t-shirt, if you're not going to say it out loud, don't put it on social media, right? If people think of a screen, and think of it, think of how easy it is for you to message somebody and say something that you may not necessarily say to their face. You're seeing that screen, and I don't think people have understood that they're interacting with millions and billions of people when they actually utilize social media, when they utilize the internet. So I don't know that we've that
We still
youth,
see it as a communication between two persons.
right,
Rather
that
than between
only a
sharing
selected
information with the
few
world.
will actually see that. Or let's even see who, I don't know if anybody's going to see it anyway. And that is one of the things that I think it's actually hindering the responsible use of social media. I think that we need to understand how important it is. Because now I use social media as a search engine. I want to know something about somebody. Okay, let's look at their Facebook profile. Let's see what their posts are. And that allows me to formulate kind of an idea, a blanket of who this person is and what they're into. And I think that a number of people actually use social media like that. So I don't know that we've gotten a grasp on using it to an extent where it's responsible and it's to our benefit, but I also think that the education needs to be there as well. I don't know whether it has to come from the NYC as a youth entity to say, okay, let's teach our youth how to do it, or if it needs to be established within the schools or non-government organizations. But somebody needs to do it. The education needs to be there, even within the media.
You mentioned earlier your fascination with the aura within the youth parliament and the excitement of being able to be in a position to have to say things that would be of interest to your community, to be the MP for the day, or you know, it attracted you because you're a communicator and you went into it with a, you know, ready to do it. To what extent do you think members of the NYC generally, and I'm not talking about the leadership, but the member organizations in the communities, in the constituencies, in the villages, in the town, to what extent do they see themselves as a powerful national body? I keep saying here all the time, 2/3 of the population of St. Lucia alive today were born after 1979. Young people have always been the majority in the population. We've had the NYC maybe for 30 years at least. The organizations are there, nationally, community level, but it beats me why young people as an entity and as groups of entities have not been able to convince each other that we are a power, we're a force. The plans that are put in place by any government is for us, the youth, tomorrow, and that's how it goes. So we've always had young people in the majority in St. Lucia from time immemorial. Why is it that young people haven't seen themselves as that collective power?
But even with, you look at the electorate of St. Lucia, I don't think we as St. Lucians have realized that we're a force. And I think that is what actually hinders young people and the NYC. Yes, you have NYC, and to understand the NYC and their role, you need to understand the structure. So the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports actually plays a major role in as an ally to the NYC. So we speak of Youth Parliament, the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports spearhead that. But they go through the District Youth and Sports Councils, which are kind of community groups under the NYC. And so I think that definitely we need to understand as young people that yes, we have a voice. And yes, that is something that we need to take up, but it's something that I'm sure we can discuss.
Yeah, I think the point, we'll take a break now, folks, and when we come back, we'll look at the issue of voter apathy generally. I think what Homer is saying here is that let's not just see the youth as a separate entity. What the youth are reflecting is they're part of a society that thinks that way. So we'll go into that, the whole question of youth and voter apathy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.